Hi guys! Learning how to use layers in Photoshop is probably the foundation of, well, everything else in Photoshop. You can do very little in Photoshop if you don't have a fundamental understanding of layers. Now, there are more than one type of layers in Photoshop. We have pixel layers and we have adjustment layers. We have layer masks, and I'm gonna get into all of that, but the primary focus on this video is to take a photo like this one. This is taken on the glacier beach in Iceland, and what I like about this photo is how the wave is flowing over the ice. And what I don't like is the big black spot on the right side of the ice, and because the wave is flowing, it's moving the ice, so the ice is moving, so you can see it's not tack sharp. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take another photo, this photo here, and I'm gonna use the wavy action here on the right side and blend that into the other photo. And as you can see here, the ice is sharp, and that's what I want, because here it's not. So to make this work, I'm gonna take this photo. This is my photo. This is this photo I'm gonna use, and this is the photo I'm gonna use parts of. I'm gonna select both of them because I want them both opened in Photoshop. Right click, and I'm gonna choose Edit In. I'm not gonna choose Edit In out of Photoshop. I'm gonna open as layers in Photoshop. There's a difference between that. The difference is, if you say Edit in Photoshop, it's going to open Photoshop and two files in Photoshop. If you choose Edit as layers in Photoshop, it's going to open Photoshop and one file with two layers, as we can see here. So it is essential. You can see it's very similar. It's not completely the same. So I might run into some problems with blending this together, but let's see if we can make it work. But first I need to align the photos as much as possible. There's always, the ice is not in the same place, and even if these photos are taking like with a few minutes apart on a tripod on exactly the same spot, there's a lot that can change, especially when everything is moving like here. So let's see, we go to Edit and Auto Align Layers. Just choose Auto and OK. So let's see how that goes. There we are. You can see here on the borders of the photo that it did move considerably. So let's see. Yeah, it's almost at the same place. So what we do now is we add a layer mask to this layer, to the top layer. So the photo I'm gonna use, gonna add to, is on the bottom. How you do this yourself, it is your own preference. But I choose to have my original photo on the bottom, and what I'm working on, the areas I'm taking from another photo, I'm placing that on top, on the top layer. So if both layers are on, only the top layer is visible. So what I need to do is I need to make parts of the top layer invisible. So how do I do that? I use layer mask, which is this icon here, add layer mask. So by default, if I add layer mask, you can see this white square here on next to the thumbnail photo on the layer. And white means that everything is visible. It's just visible. Black means, if I invert this here, it means nothing is visible. So nothing on the top layer is visible if it's black. If I invert it again, then it's white. Everything is visible on the top layer, so it doesn't show anything through. But then we have shades of gray. And the lighter the shades of gray, the more opacity it has, and the closer to black, the less. So what I want here is I go here to properties, and I want to invert the layer. So then I will choose a brush, just a regular paintbrush, and I will make the brush white. So if I make it completely white, let's make a little bigger brush here so you can see what I'm doing, like that. Okay, now it's completely white, so everything the brush touches reveals the bottom layer, okay? If, however, I make it some grayish color, like something like that, it's gonna erase part of it, so I'm gonna see through it, I'm gonna see the top layer and some of the bottom layer. I don't want that. I want it to be completely white. And then I want the hardness of the brush. Let's start with just having it very soft. The edges of the brush, let's have it very soft. Maybe this brush is a little bit too big. Something like, let's try that. Okay, then I paint here in. And as you can see, the brush is maybe a little bit too big, so I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Maybe zoom in a little bit. Get the brush again, and so then maybe now I might go to a little grayish, so I can see a little bit through the brush. I can also dial down the opacity here on the brush. Essentially, that works basically the same way as changing the shades of gray. Something like that, you know. The devil is in the details, so the more work you put into it, the better it's going to be. So I'm reasonably happy with the water now, you know, but the ice is still very blurry. So I'm gonna put the opacity back up into 100. Then I'm gonna paint with a white brush, a little bigger, maybe a little less hardness. And you can see, like here, when I go over the ice, it takes the better ice and it's completely sharp, tack sharp, kind of nice. So once you're happy with that, you just kind of merge the layers. I just do like a merge down or flatten image or whatever. Then I'm gonna take a Control T to scale the photo. So I'm just gonna scale it like I'm stretching the eyes a little bit, making it fill the frame a bit more, something like that. And that was basically pixel layer. So then we have another type of layer, which is an adjustment layer. So let's take a look at that also. So if I have that layer selected, I can go here down to this globe here, and I'm gonna choose, let's choose curve, for example. So just to make a little S curve here, like that. Then I would make, for example, let's say I'm kind of happy with that. This could be straight. So I'm gonna go back to, you can see here on the horizon, it's a little crooked. That's no good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna press Control or Command T again to get this box, transform box around it. I need rulers, so I'm gonna go to View, Rulers, and I'm gonna drag a ruler down here to the horizon, and then I'm just gonna adjust the photo like that. So what I can do now is I can just merge these layers again. And then I would maybe go to filter and camera raw filter. I kind of like to have access to that in Photoshop. But there's a little bit here we could maybe lighten the blues a little bit, get more color in the sky. And you can see my highlights are close to blowing out. I don't want that. Maybe we could do like a gradient to do like take the opacity, take the saturation down a little bit, something like that. Okay. So what I did here isn't really important. This is all about the layer, the working with layers in Photoshop. It was just like to finish the photo. And so let's, when I save this in Photoshop, if I open it from Lightroom, then I save it in Photoshop, then it throws it automatically back into Lightroom, the new file. So here it is. This is the original. And this is what we ended up with. So the only way to fix a photo like this is what we might call a heavy photo manipulation. So if you're not there, just ignore this. But this is really nice, especially if you have a really nice photo. It has some problems, but you might have areas on other photos to fix those problems. I don't put it in the same category as completely replacing skies or stuff like that. That is kind of like another. That's kind of next level, you know. But in photo manipulation. But this is innocent. This is nice. So hope you learned something from this. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.